Hello, I'm Jay, owner of Volunteer Audio in Oliver Springs, Tennessee. We're making a video tonight to go over the new Kenwood Power Sports camera for motorcycle. It's the STZ-RF200WD. It's a dual camera setup, and we're going to be installing this on a street glide before Tony goes down to Daytona. Hopefully we'll get some footage by the time he gets back and add it on to the end. But hang out, I'll go over all the features and show you how to install it on your bike. All right, so we're going to unbox this new Kenwood STZ-RF200WD camera system. It's an IPX6 IPX66 waterproof camera, but I want to open it up, show you what comes in it, and then we'll get to the bike and install it. So let's go through our unboxing here. All right, so we're going to have our, basically the hub or the brain of the system. Looks like we have our switch. Let's get it out here. Oh, no, that's the GPS antenna. One of our cameras. There's two cameras. I think this is the second one. We have our owner's manual. It's also going to come with a switch that we're going to mount. You're going to want to put this somewhere where it's accessible. And let's see what else we have. Okay, our wiring. Very simplistic wiring. All we're going to have to get is ground, battery constant, and ignition to make this work. Most of which we're going to be able to grab underneath the seat. Now, in the package, it's going to come with everything we need to adhere the cameras, along with the switches to the motorcycle. It's going to come with some zip ties also to help get these wires mounted under the seat. So we have two sticky pads and two cameras. These are 1920 by 1080 high definition cameras. There's a front one and a rear one, and they have this crazy wide angle 195-degree view. So when we mount one of these under our front fairing or on our back fender, it's going to catch everything that's going on. And we're going to mount it not with screws and put any holes, but it comes with this plate. This plate is bendable, so we can mold it to the shape of the fender or the bottom of the headlight. And we're going to use this two-way 3M adhesive to secure that. We also have a GPS antenna. This thing is going to pick up where you're at for later on when you're viewing it, how fast you're going, as well as things like G-force. G-force is actually probably in here, but it also picks up a 3-axis G sensor. So it knows when you've been on a wreck or something crazy's happened, it's going to auto-record and add that to a different folder so it doesn't get rode over. So this switch, this is pretty interesting. So this is going to be a switch that allows you to change between different camera modes, different recording modes. It also has indicator LEDs on it. They're going to let you know that everything's working right, or if there's an issue with the system. So if you were to have a problem, let's say your SD card did fail, there's going to be some lights that are going to change on this, and there are going to be some diagnostic codes to let you know what to do to get it back working. So it seems to be pretty well thought out. Now we do have some optional parts. So like I say, this is a motorsports camera, and we're going to be putting it on a Harley today, but it could also go on many other applications, including side-by-side vehicles, off-road vehicles such as Jeeps. If you want to record this, maybe you're going to do your own YouTube videos on your adventures, this camera would be great for it. So we also offer some extensions, some camera extensions. In the package, if you were to hook the cameras to this brain and stretch it out, we have about 13 feet from one end to the other, which is more than enough for a Harley. But we do offer also 1 meter, 3 meter, and 5 meter extensions. A meter is about 3.3 feet. So just think 3 foot, 9 foot, 15 foot roughly in extension, depending on what you're going to be putting this on. All right, so now that we've got it unboxed, I want to go over a few of the options real quick with you also. So this thing is going to have what they call wireless link. So there's a smartphone application you download to your phone. You'll be able to go back and view the footage on your phone, as well as different settings about the system. IPX67 and 66 probably doesn't mean a lot to you when we say that, but what that means is it's completely water sealed. Watertight. It is not submersible underwater, but will hold up to any water jet spray, such as pressure washers, hard rains. We're not going to have to worry about water taking any of this out. It does come with a 32 gig SD card with it. It's a class 10 card, similar to what goes on a GoPro, so it can be rode over and over and over without failing, and it will hold up to a 256 gig card. So full HD, It's going to be able to monitor everything. So if somebody were to try to run you off the road, or maybe you're just down at Daytona and you pass something, you want to go back later and you want to view it, you're going to have everything about your ride recorded on this system. Let's get to our bike, take it apart, and start putting this thing on. All right, so first step, I'm going to take Tony's seat off, remove his gas tank in preparation for running the wires we need to. All right, so I've got my front Motorsports camera. All I've done is run the wire. I just pushed it up and over here and pulled it out the other side. We're going to fish that up under our gas tank. But I want to show you where I'm going to place this camera. We're going to go right to the bottom of the headlight housing. It's going to give us a really straight on shot of everything that Tony's going to see while he's going down the road. It's got a two-way emblem adhesive tape from 3M, and we've cleaned the bottom of this with alcohol. So we'll go ahead and get that stuck, and we'll go to the other side and route this back underneath our seat to where we're going to put our module. So we're going to stick it on, and it's stuck on really secure and it's straight. At the end, we'll hook our phone app up, we'll view it, and we'll adjust the camera, the angles and everything about it. There's an Allen head that loosens and lets all this tilt and twirl. So once we get it secured later, we'll do that adjustment. All right, let's move back to the other side. All right, so we just mounted our camera. We've got our wire coming out through here, and we're going to zip tie it along with our factory wiring and run it down the backbone of the bike under the gas tank, and we're going to leave this out under the seat. We're actually going to connect our camera up to behind this side panel to the brain box. But now I'm just going to secure this and get our cover back on. All right, so I put our backbone cover back on, gas tank's back on, and I've just routed the camera here under the seat. Now on most bikes, there's more room than this, but Tony has added everything Custom Dynamics has, and every plug-in the T-harness something in is under here. So between 3 amplifiers, 10 speakers, and every light made, he's got a whole lot going on under the seat. But this bike, being it's an 09 Street Glide, it did not have ABS, and we've got a lot of room behind the side panel. So I've took the panel off. We're going to put our brain to our unit here, so you can simply unsnap this to get to the SD card. Now, if you had an ABS unit here, most of the time you've got a smaller ECM on your newer bikes, you've got a little more room, and you could put this brain under the seat. So we're going to continue forward. I'm going to put the brain under here. I'll catch back up with you here in a second, talk about hooking up the power and ground wire to it. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about the module real quick. So it's got 5 connections on it, one for the GPS antenna, one for our switch, one for power, ground, and ignition, a rear camera, and a front camera. So once you have your front camera ran here, go ahead and connect it up to the front camera location. You'll see there's some arrows you line up, then you twist this and it tightens it in, so it screws in place. Now this is a watertight connection. We don't have to worry about it failing. Let's get our next parts installed, and then we'll run them over to the same box. All right, so next I'm going to take our GPS antenna and I'm going to put it in place. The easiest place to put this, and if you watch Josh from Kenwood on his previous installs, he puts it here. Just go to the back of the seat and just back on the back fender, take off this 2-way tape pad. I've cleaned it with alcohol already. Take our GPS antenna and just stick it onto the fender. This is going to allow the wire to come and hide right under the seat. It's going to pick up fine here. It's going to have a view of the sky. It'll go through fiberglass, through plastic. It doesn't really want to go through metal, but we'll do great being out here on the back. Next, I'm going to take our camera and put it in place. Let me grab it. All right, so this is going to be pretty simple too. Now, if you didn't have a tour pack, it'd be a lot easier to see this. But all we're going to do is we're going to come back on the fender, behind it again, and I'm going to stick this onto the fender where it's going to have a clear view behind us without the tour pack or with the tour pack. And again, that wire is just going to run up, go with our GPS antenna under our seat. So let me get this in place and we'll show it to you a little better from a different angle. And again, at the end, we'll take an Allen head tool and we'll adjust the angle and the rotation and everything of these cameras and lock them in place. But now that I have my camera mounted, I'm just going to zip tie it along with this cable and run it also up here to our brain and plug into the appropriate plugins. All right, so we just mounted our rear camera, our rear GPS sensor. Again, just go back to the brain box. Each one's clearly labeled. We'll find our rear camera, line up the arrows on it, screw it into place. We're going to do the same thing with our GPS antenna. So it's a slightly smaller cable. So even though I ran them at the same time, you can tell the difference between them. So I'm going to find the one that says GPS. Same thing. Let's line up your 2 arrows so that it'll plug in. And then tighten this up. Now at the end, I'll take some zip ties and we'll we'll definitely do some wire management here and make this look better. All I have left now is to mount our switch. Let's move to the other side and I'll show you where we're going to put it. All right, so I talked to Tony and I found out where he wanted to put the switch. Again, this is going to allow you to change different camera modes, different recording modes, as well as it's got 2 indicator lights that we're going to need to see so we know what mode we're in or if we're having any issues out of that SD card over time. So he's asked me to put it right here in the front so you can see it and reach down and operate it. So we've cleaned it with alcohol. We're just going to self-stick it in place. I'm going to undo this wire and route it back over there as well. This is a very, very simple install, and I think you're going to see we get a great result at the end. So I'm just going to pull this through, route it across the front, down over to the other side. And just like the last part that we just did, I'm going to add a few zip ties in here and clean this up. But this is just going to plug into the one that says switch. So very simple. So we're going to mate that up, and then we'll move on to our power and ground. All right, so we've connected our power and our ground up. I want to go over this real quick because it could be a little confusing. If you're used to car audio, this wiring's not going to make sense. There is a red wire with a fuse holder, and it's going to have a ring already on it, a ring terminal. There's a black wire, no fuse on it. It's got a ring terminal, and then there's a yellow wire. The red one with a fuse and a ring terminal goes to the positive battery post. The black one with a ring goes to the negative battery post. The yellow is the ignition turn on. Now, if this was a car stereo, that's completely backwards. Yellow is normally battery constant. Red is normally ignition. In this case, I've connected our yellow wire to a turn on wire that I found at our lights. So the lights on this come on anytime the ignition's on. So that's a good 12-volt source that we can grab to turn this camera on. So it'll know when the camera's on. So now all we're going to do is line up again the arrows on our connector. So it plugs in, twist this together. When we do that, we now have power and ground to our box. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tidy up this wiring, put our SD card in the side of the box. I'm going to go ahead and tell you about that because I may not video this again. So the SD card goes right in the side. It's got a little waterproof cover here. This is made for exactly what you're doing. This is for power sports, motorsports, side-by-sides, whatever that could get wet, that could be left outside, like a motorcycle. It's going to handle the vibration of it, and it's going to do a really good job of lasting and giving you great video quality. But now that everything's connected, I'm going to get all this zip tied, cleaned up, seat back on, and we'll connect to it and adjust our cameras. All right, so as you see, I've got all my wiring is zip tied into this ABS module area where it would have been if we had ABS. And I've positioned the brain of the camera system here where the door is facing up to access the SD card. This is gonna make it really easy if Tony wants to swap out the card, pull it out to put it in a computer, pop the side cover off, you can get straight to it. Now, flip side, if this was a newer bike, we had more room under the seat, this could definitely sit under the seat. This extra wiring, I would normally put in front of the battery. There's a big open void there between the engine area and the battery area where you could put your extra bundles of wire. No extensions were needed. Everything is installed. We'll get the seat back on and let's power this thing on. All right, so we're done with our install. Bike's back together. Cameras are on both ends. The next thing we got to do is we got to download the app. The app is called the Kenwood Motorsports Cam app. So if you just type in Kenwood Motorsports, it's going to pop up. Download that to your phone. Next step, get out your directions. Page 17 of the directions is going to tell you how to connect your cell phone to the unit. What you're going to do is, according to this, we're going to open the settings on our phone. We're going to go to Wi-Fi, and we're going to find the camera by its serial number. The first thing we're going to do, though, is we need to press and hold the switch button for 3 seconds. It says that it's going to do an orange light and then a blue light. The blue light will blink till we hook up. So let's get our phone back on here. So I'm going to go to settings, go to our Wi-Fi. We're looking for STZ-RF, here it is, and it's going to have the serial number of your units. So it's going to vary. And the password is going to be 1234, 1234, and we're going to tell it to join. All right, so it's connecting. We are connected. So I'm going to bring back up my Kenwood Motorsports app, and now we're going to be connected to it, and we can do things like image angle adjustment. All right, let's set our time zone. It wants to do that. We're in Eastern USA, so I'm going to go ahead and set that. Now we'll do our image angle adjustment. So now as you're going to see, here's my front camera angle. And as I correct or change the front of the bike, this is going to be live, it's going to change also. So now I have something that I can look at while I adjust my camera, make sure it's straight and get whatever angle I want. I can also swap to the rear camera. My rear camera is under our tour pack. I'm going to point it down a little bit. I'm going to adjust it straight. So once I'm here and I've got those things set, I can go back out into my app and I can look at our different files that are saved on the camera, files that I've saved to our mobile phone, and I can go through and do a bunch of settings, recording times, impact detection level, whether I want sound or not. So you can actually have sound on this as well, and your video quality. So all these settings are done through your phone. It's going to make it really easy to go back and view what's happened. You can save it from here to your phone as well, which is really nice. So if something's happened, you're out on a trip, you want to make sure it doesn't record back over, throw it on here. Now, Tony's already bought a 128 gig card. This thing will hold up to a 256 gig card. And I do not want to stress enough, you have to have a class 10 or better SD card. If you buy a cheap SD card, those cards won't last a month. They write over themselves. They create errors in the data and they no longer work. So definitely get a class 10 card or better if you're going to upgrade the size of the card. So next, hopefully Tony has a good time at Daytona, comes back with some footage, and we'll share that at the end of the video. All right, so as you can see, this camera system is awesome. Video quality is great. Tony's had a great time in Daytona. I hope you enjoyed the footage that we got from his camera system. I hope this video helped you. It showed you how to install the camera. If this is something that's outside of your wheelhouse, not something you're willing to do, definitely reach out to us at Volunteer Audio. We'd be happy to do the installation for you. I think this is a very important thing that we add some sort of safety device like a camera to record what's happened. Too many people could try to run you out of the road or get you in an accident and you'll have no proof of what happened. It could save you a ton of money down the road and also money on your insurance, maybe even keep it from being a fault claim for you and be for someone else, which would save you a lot of money in the long run. But thank you for watching. Thank you for liking our video. Share it with your friends. I hope it has encouraged you to do something like this yourself. And please, please subscribe to our channel for more future videos about Harley audio, Harley accessories, things that we think would be something good for you to add to your bike. Thank you for watching Volunteer Audio, 1-844-30 audio. You can call me. You can go to volunteeraudio.com. We'll have a link to this package in the description if you want to make a purchase. And as always, God bless and thank you. Hope you have a good day.